Well done keeping up. In this lesson, you will be introduced to the sketch environment. And don't worry if you don't remember everything after this lesson. We will look more closely at all details later in the course. Your sketch is the geometric profile that shapes your three-dimensional geometry. I like to think about sketches as the underlying assets that drive the shapes of your design. A sketch is more than just a shape that creates three-dimensional geometry. Sketch workflows provide you with an opportunity to work proactively with your two-dimensional and three-dimensional designs as well as with your entire assembly. Later in the course, we will see examples of how sketch workflows improve both efficiency and quality. You can create your sketches on construction planes, faces, or at any point in the three-dimensional space, and you can utilize existing design assets such as edges from other geometry when you make sketches. You will recognize tools you've used in other CAD software such as multiple options for creating rectangles, circles, arcs, splines, and more. You have two different sketch profiles in Autodesk Fusion. An open profile does not form a closed boundary. We will explore open profiles later in the course when we extrude thin solid features, when we guide modeling operations such as sweep, and when we work with surface modeling. A closed profile forms a closed boundary. This closed boundary is easy to spot in Autodesk Fusion. The area has a shaded blue color. Closed profiles can be used when you want to extrude three-dimensional shapes or perform Boolean operations such as cut or join. Sketches can either be unconstrained, partially constrained, or fully constrained. I like to think about constraints as rules. More rules equals less freedom, and just as in life, there are times when rules are good and there are times when no rules are good. And the best thing is probably a balance between rules and different degrees of freedom. An unconstrained sketch is generally better early in the design process. During this phase, you want flexibility and freedom. You will recognize unconstrained sketches in your project browser when you spot this symbol next to the sketch, and you can move this geometry around in your design space since the sketch isn't fully locked with dimensions or constraints. A constrained sketch has geometry that's locked in place by dimensions and constraints. A fully constrained sketch is black. Rules, for example, dimensions or constraints, can be useful when you know your desired details about your design. You want to avoid surprises and enjoy predictable results when you make changes to your design. You should recognize 6 types of sketch geometry. Default sketch geometry is blue with shaded blue color for closed profiles. Construction geometry is orange and dashed. I like to think about those as helplines that don't contribute to the sketch profile that drives the three-dimensional design. Center line geometry is orange and dashed. It shows symmetry. Projection geometry is purple. Those sketch lines are projected onto the sketch plane from existing two-dimensional or three-dimensional profiles. Fixed geometry is green and is a sketch locked in place with the fix-unfix constraint. And finally, constrained geometry is black. This geometry has so many rules, for example dimensions and constraints, so it can't move. You can make both two-dimensional and three-dimensional sketches, but you need to activate 3D Sketch if you don't want your sketch to be restricted to the selected plane. I personally recommend two-dimensional sketches most of the time, such as when you intend to utilize features such as extrude, and three-dimensional sketches when you want to create path with options such as sweep. A contextual tab appears when you create your sketch, and you close this contextual tab when you click Finish Sketch. A pro tip here: you can skip the Finish Sketch step and jump right into 3D modeling commands by pressing 3D modeling commands such as Extrude. We'll start from the basic with the sketch line command in the next lesson. Good job keeping up.